So this video is going to address circles. What is a circle? A circle is a collection of points, all of which are the same distance from a particular point called the origin, and that distance is called the radius. So let's put our circle somewhere in the Cartesian coordinate system. So its center is HK and its radius is R. The standard form equation for a circle with center HK and radius R is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So if you have a circle whose center is at -4, 3, and whose radius is 2, then the standard form equation is x minus -4, so x plus 4 squared, plus y minus 3 squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. If you don't have an h or k, it just means there's 0. For example, x squared plus y squared equals 9 is the equation for the circle whose center is 0, 0. See, x minus 0 squared is just this x squared. Y minus 0 squared is just this y squared. And the radius of this circle is, of course, the square root of 9. So the radius here is 3. What if you want to graph a circle? Well, if you've got it in standard form, like here, recall this was our circle with center h. Remember, it's x minus h. So in this case, h is -4. Y minus 3 squared. Our k is 3. So we're centered at -4, 3. And the radius, remember, this 4 is r squared. So our radius here is 2. And once you know the center and the radius, graphing it is not too super complicated. You just find the center, -4, 3, and then the radius will give you your side point. So center at -4, 3, I go 2 away from that in every direction. So here I've got -2, 3, -4, 5, -6, 3, and -4, 1, and then just kind of connect the dots in as close approximation to a circle as you are able. But circles don't necessarily come in standard form. In fact, any equation that can be written as x squared plus y squared plus some coefficient times x plus some coefficient times y plus a constant equals 0 is a circle. So how do you graph something like this? And the answer is that you have to put it in standard form. So let's look at an example. X squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 4y equals 1. Okay, so how do we graph this? Well, I said you have to turn it into standard form. So you're going to have to make it look like x minus something squared plus y minus something squared equals something. First of all, let's look at the bits with x. X squared plus 4x, can I write that as a square? No, but I can complete the square. How do you complete the square? We're trying to fill in the blank here. Well, we need to find something to add to this so it becomes a perfect square. Of course, the constant inside the square term has to multiply with itself to 4, so it's going to have to end up being an x plus 2 squared, which means we need a constant 4. So to keep it equal to x squared plus 4x, I have to subtract it off. Similarly, y squared minus 4y equals y minus 2 squared. But y minus 2 squared is y squared minus 4y plus 4. So again, you've got to subtract off the 4. So we see that this x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 4y is x plus 2 squared minus 4 plus y minus 2 squared minus 4. And then just move all the constants to the other side. So this becomes x plus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. So that this is the circle whose center is at negative 2, 2, and whose radius is 3. So it centers at negative 2, 2, and its radius is 3. So go out here, 3 that way, need 3 more this way, and I need 3 down. So our radius is negative 2, 2, and we hit the point 1, 2, negative 2, 5, negative 5, 2, and negative 2, negative 1. Then we do our best to draw a circle that connects those 4 points. So to graph a circle in its general form, you have to put it in standard form by completing the square on both the x squared plus ax part and the y squared plus by part, and moving all the constants to the right hand side of the equation.